How's your day going?
It's going great. What about you?
Good. So my name is Batah. I am from Damascus, Syria. I moved to the US around 7 years ago as a transfer student, graduated from college in a college in Chicago called Illinois Institute of Technology, and then worked for a little bit more than a year in finance in Chicago, and then moved to New York and started working for Deloitte.
Got it.
I am one of the co-founders of Syrian Youth Empowerment and the executive director. And I will leave that to the next questions because that will be the focus, my understanding, the focus of this conversation.
Yeah. So do you want to start off by giving a brief background on Syrian Youth Empowerment and what exactly your team is looking to achieve?
So Syrian Youth Empowerment is an organization that we started 5 years ago with the aim of helping Syrian students and Syrian refugees to get full scholarships at top universities in the US. That was the initial goal and mission. However, with the years, we have grown a lot in terms of the numbers, in terms of the population that we serve, in terms of the mentor who works with us, and we expanded to all over the world. So basically now the students who are part of our program, they are not only applying for the US, but also they apply for colleges everywhere. And we so far place students at top universities in the US, almost every single Ivy League, Stanford, you name it, Smith, Georgetown, Duke, like all the big names. Our students got admission and scholarship from. But also in countries like we have students at Cambridge, we have students at University of British Columbia, at Concordia, at McGill in Canada, we have students in Mexico, we have students who got admission from China and Korea, and of course there are a lot of students also in the American universities in the Middle East. So this is sort of the overview of what SYE is, and basically we recruit students. We find the best students from Syrian high school students and refugees, and work with them throughout the year in a mentorship program that, with the aim of getting them a full scholarship. And part of this program, not only the mentorship, which is the cornerstone of it, where we match one-on-one, like they're one-on-one matching between the mentors who are all here in the US and the students, but also we help reviewing the essays. We have a network of volunteers, of professional volunteers who review the essays of the students. We help them select the colleges that they apply to. We help them. We pay for the TOEFL, for the SAT, for the college application fees, and everything that needs to be done in order to be ready to apply for colleges. And so far, our students garnered around after this year around $18 to $19 million of scholarships in the last five since inception, basically. So 4 classes.
Wow, that's actually amazing.
Thank you.
So do you want to kind of explain what inspired you to start this initiative, and when did you know that this is something you want to devote your time and energy towards?
Right. So the reason behind it is literally because there was a need. We're all from Syria. We all the co-founders team, the team of guys who started this organization, the 4 of us, we all came from Syria. We all realized that there is a huge opportunity here that we're not taking advantage of. So basically, you have some really brilliant Syrian students, really, really smart, world class in intellect and ability to succeed. However, they don't know how to apply. They don't know how to navigate the system. They don't know that there's an opportunity for them there. And the Syrian system is completely different. We don't have, it's not in English for starters. It doesn't require SAT, it doesn't require TOEFL, it doesn't require to write an essay. It doesn't require many of the things that the US system requires. So in order to get the student to that point, it requires work, and that is the gap that we're trying to fill.
How does the application process work? Like, what do you look for in a candidate? Are there like certain criteria that they should
Yeah,
know?
totally. Yeah, that's a very good question, and it is a very it is a very lengthy process. So we announce the application, they go live, we do them internally through our website, and the student has to sign up and all that, and then answer an extensive list of questions, in which we look for how serious the candidate is, how passionate the candidate is, how selfless the candidate is, because we, in the back of our mind is that we want to build a class of leaders, a class of productive people that will help Syria in the future. We don't have an agenda. We don't have any any specific way of to ask the student to support or to contribute or to help in the future, but we just want to give them all they need to be productive people in the future that will support Syria in the way that they see fit. So that is something that we definitely focus on. We do also look at the language, whether the language is good enough that will get them through the program, will get them to the finish line with some improvement, because we do a lot of we provide a lot of resources, but also we have a partnership with an organization that work with the students on improving their English by having weekly talks with native speakers. So there's that. So English is something that we look at, the extracurricular activities, obviously. So this is the first step. This is all the first step of the application, which is very, very competitive, in terms of how many students apply and how many students get in. It's, to be honest, it's even sometimes more competitive than some of the top schools that the students end up going to. And then we have an interview process.
So what are some of the greatest accomplishments that you've had so far throughout your journey? And what are your future plans as well? Where are you headed next?
A very great question. So in terms of our biggest accomplishment, it's really hard to pinpoint one or even to define them as big accomplishments. For me, every student that get in is a big accomplishment. Every accomplishment of the students that get in is a big accomplishment. So now we started seeing our first year student getting offers from top companies like Google and Amazon and Goldman Sachs and you name it. And those are not our accomplishment. Those are the students' accomplishment. But we are equally proud of them now as we were when they got their admission to Harvard or to MIT or to Cambridge or whatever school they go to. However, from an internal standpoint, what I'm mostly proud of is our team. We honestly have an amazing team, both in leadership, the people who work in leadership, and also the mentors. It's a really good team. It is. What I like the most is how well-intentioned everyone. So none of us make money except for for some employees that we have, very, very few. But out of the 65 mentors, no one makes money. In leadership, none of the co-founders make any money, including myself of this. So the incentives are very obvious here, that they are the well-intentioned and really the care for the cause that we are supporting. In terms of where are we heading in the future, it's very exciting. This year has been phenomenal for us. We have grew a lot, not only in numbers, as I mentioned, but also we expanded to Iraq. There's an Iraqi pilot program. So our goal in the future is to become the preeminent organization globally that supports students from conflict countries. So it's not only for Syria, it's not only for Arab countries, it's not only for the Middle East. We hope to go beyond that, but we're going one step at a time. And this year we launched the Iraqi pilot program, and we launched another program is to support Syrians and Syrian refugees to get their graduate degrees. So we found that there's also a huge need there that we weren't equipped to support in the previous years, but this year we had the capacity to do so. And as of yesterday, we had a very productive meeting with leadership, and we decided in the response to what is going on in the world now, as it relates to racism and brutality in general, we will be incorporating a new program as part of the SYE program for all the students that we work with, to have and incubate discussions around civic engagements, around racism, around sectarianism.
So you mentioned this briefly, but what are some of the resources that you provide the students so that they have a higher chance of acceptance from their dream college?
Yeah, totally. So as I mentioned, the cornerstone of the program is the mentorship program. So every student, every mentor work with maximum of 3 students, but like the majority of them work with 2 or 1. And this will become your point of contact throughout the year. So there are weekly or bi-weekly meetings, calls, texts, like all that kind of stuff. They work with you through every single thing, every single issue that you're dealing with. So it is very subjective in a sense, that relationship, that it's like really hard to say that, oh, mentors, and this is how it translates to the admission. But really, this person becomes your advocate, your major, like your person who helps you with every single step. But then from there, we provide tons of resources, as for books, as for learning opportunities, as for like platforms to learn English, TOEFL, SAT, all needs to be done. We provide templates for everything they need, from like an essays for them, like kind of to see what a Syrian student's essay look like, for example, and an admitted Syrian students at MIT essay look like, so they can get inspiration if they're like, if their teacher is not necessarily like know how to write a recommendation letter because it's a very Western concept, then we work with the teacher, for example, or the professor or whoever they're working with to write a recommendation letter. We help them select the universities that they are best fit for them. We have like all kind of methodology to know about that. We have the essays I mentioned is a big component. They write their essays. We provide we provide training on how to do that. But then once they do that, they work with their mentor.
So do you have any last words or something you want to share about your experience, your greatest takeaways, just something you want to mention at the end?
Yeah, no, I don't think you missed anything. I think you have a great set of questions and structure for this call and this interview. What I would like to share is we talk a lot about impact and about driving progress, and you really have to go and do it, not only talk about it. And it is, posting something on Facebook is fulfilling, but it is a million times more fulfilling when you see someone that you help that is thriving. So when I see a student now who a few years ago I was like barely able to communicate with because the electricity cuts back in Syria or in the camps that they live in, and now see him or her graduating from the top university in the world and getting a job at one of the top companies, that is like, it's a whole different experience, a whole different feeling that, does not equate to just like social media activism, if you will. So that is one thing that I like people to keep in mind. And I'm not saying that people who share on social media are not doing things, but what I'm saying is like, it's better, it's from my experience, it's better for those to go hand in hand. And sometimes it takes people time to find their real calling, or what they're really interested in doing, or where, find their place within existing organizations, but that's okay. But hopefully that everyone will get to that point and also kind of carry actions along with the activism on social media or anywhere else. The other thing is I want to talk about is that age and background doesn't really matter in driving the impact of the progress.
Definitely. Thank you so much, George, for this conversation.
Thank you. Just the fact that you're thinking this way, you're taking this approach, you're taking action to build on an idea that you had is very promising, and I wish you all the best. And if there's any way I can help, I'll always be here. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and talk soon.